Welcome to the Explainer. Look, today we are going to completely transform how you interact with artificial intelligence. We're taking your mindset from using Claude as a basic rudimentary search engine, and we're onboarding it as a highly capable, intelligent colleague. If you've been feeling like you just aren't getting the absolute most out of your AI tools, well, you are in the exact right place.
So, think about this for a second. Are you just chatting with your AI, or are you actually collaborating with it? Because treating Claude like a generic chatbot is going to yield, well, pretty generic results. It's kind of like hiring a brilliant colleague and asking them to do nothing but look up random trivia facts. We are about to change that entirely and unlock the true collaborative power of this platform. To get us there, we're going to work through 5 clear levels of mastery. We'll start by moving beyond the basic chatbot. Then we'll organize your workspace, connect your data sources, tap into the desktop powerhouse, and finally, integrate Claude right into your daily ecosystem.
Okay, let's dive into level 1, beyond the basic chatbot, starting with the brief. When you hire a new team member, you don't just bark a one-word order at them and expect sheer perfection, right? No, you give them proper context. To master this with Claude, we're going to look at the 4D framework for AI fluency. This was developed by Professors Rick Dakin and Joseph Feller, and it emphasizes that true fluency isn't just typing really fast. It takes strategic judgment. You need delegation to know what to actually hand off, description to communicate it clearly, discernment to evaluate the output, and diligence to use the AI responsibly.
Let's actually look at the description part of that framework in action. It breaks down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, set the stage. Who are you and what's the context? Step 2, define the specific task. And step 3, specify the rules like your tone or format. For example, instead of a lazy prompt like, write about streaming, try something like, I'm a marketing lead preparing an investor pitch deck for a new indie streaming app. Research the market and structure a 5-page professional report with citations. Notice the difference there? You're managing. You're not just chatting.
Moving right along to level 2, organizing your AI workspace. Let's give our new colleague an office.
So, once your AI knows how to take a proper brief, it needs a place to work. Because the real power of Claude comes from persistent context, not just isolated prompts it completely forgets by tomorrow. You organize this in 2 main ways: projects and skills. Projects are basically your knowledge hubs for storing massive files. Claude uses something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, to automatically boost its capacity by up to 10 times without losing the thread of the conversation. Skills, on the other hand, are your procedural machines. They encode those repeatable step-by-step workflows so things like your brand guidelines are applied perfectly every single time. And here is where it gets really fun. When you ask for complex work, Claude doesn't just bury a wall of text in a chat, it generates artifacts. These are standalone outputs rendered right in a dedicated window. We're talking fully functional React components, interactive mermaid diagrams, or even complete HTML landing pages. You can even publish these artifacts via a link for your team to view and actually remix in their own workspaces. It is a total game changer.
All right, level 3, connecting your data sources. Time to hand over the keys to the company drive.
If you're still copying and pasting text from your documents into a chat window, you are doing way too much manual work. It's time to give Claude access to your company drive. Now, you're probably wondering about security, and the golden rule here is simple. Claude sees what you see. Using highly secure connectors powered by the Model Context Protocol, Claude can link to tools like Google Drive or Notion. But, and this is absolutely crucial, it can only access data that you personally have permission to view. It's completely secure, revocable, and keeps your proprietary data locked down.
Now, for team and enterprise users, this scales up into Enterprise Search, which is a massive pre-built project for your entire organization. I mean, we've all experienced the absolute nightmare of trying to track down some crucial leadership decision that got buried in a month-old Slack thread, right? With Enterprise Search, you just ask Claude a single question, and it synthesizes the exact answer from across all your company's connected documents and chats. But sometimes you need to look outward, and that's exactly where Research Mode comes in. This isn't just a basic web search. It works agently. That means it plans an approach, conducts multiple searches that actually build on each other, synthesizes all those findings, and then gives you a highly detailed report with verifiable citations. This multi-angle investigation takes anywhere from 5 to 45 minutes, effectively automating hours of manual human research while you focus on the deep work.
Let's step up to level 4, the desktop powerhouse. We are taking Claude out for some field work.
This is where Claude leaves the confines of your web browser and goes directly to where your actual work lives, your local machine.
The Claude desktop app gives you 3 distinct modes. Chat is perfectly optimized for quick exchanges, featuring fast keyboard entry and dictation. Then you have Co-work, which is designed for complex, sustained work where Claude can actually access your local folders. And lastly, Code is an entire development environment featuring specific planning and coding modes built just for software engineers.
Let's take a closer look at CowWork. Because this runs locally, you can point it at a massive folder right on your computer, and it can spin up sub-agents to handle different parts of a research task in parallel. You can even set it up to run scheduled tasks. Imagine a recurring morning inbox triage that automatically sorts out what needs your attention before you've even had your first sip of coffee. No way, right? But it's entirely possible.
Finally, let's move to level 5 and see how this all builds together. Claude, in your ecosystem, everywhere you work. Our final level is all about making sure your AI colleague is sitting right next to you, natively integrated into the tools you are already using every single day. First up, Slack. Instead of copying a massive, never-ending conversation into a browser window, you can seamlessly tag Claude right inside the thread. It instantly summarizes lengthy discussions, preps you for upcoming meetings based on the channel history, and even drafts responses, all without you ever having to leave your primary communication hub.
And for the numbers people out there, Claude lives directly inside a Microsoft Excel sidebar. It is quite literally the ultimate partner for decoding one of those complex, inherited financial models that someone else built years ago. You can chat with Claude right next to your data to update assumptions, spin up pivot tables, or finally figure out how to fix those incredibly frustrating reference errors once and for all.
This ecosystem extends to your presentations and web browsing too. Claude for PowerPoint lets you draft and restructure slides purely through conversation, while critically keeping your company's brand template entirely intact. Meanwhile, Claude for Chrome acts as an incredible co-pilot that navigates multi-step web workflows and summarizes super long articles while you're actively browsing. And finally, for the developers tuning in, there is Claude Code. This is a fully agentic tool that lives directly in your terminal or IDE. It deeply understands your code base, it can write code, run your tests, and even create commits. And get this, it does it entirely on plain English instructions. It is absolutely the ultimate pair programming partner.
Well, we have covered an incredible journey today, from a simple, basic text box all the way to a deeply integrated agentic colleague. I want to leave you with a provocative thought referencing the very first principle of that 40 framework we discussed. Based on the delegation principle, what specific task will you delegate to Claude tomorrow? Stop just chatting, start collaborating, and unleash your new AI colleague. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.